Okay, here we have this beautiful, purchased from eBay, cropped fur jacket. I'm not certain what the fur is. It's not rabbit, it's something fine, very fine. But it's a 3/4 length sleeve, and the client discovered that the hem was done right along this line, meaning that that much was folded up to meet up here. So we figured you could let this down and she would get all the length that she desires. So that's what I'm into. Look at the construction of putting tiny bits of fur together. And on the outside, you can't even really tell. And then the so-called underseam, see how it's done? They used a ribbon. And it's zigzagged carefully together, but they used that ribbon to strengthen it. Also, in other places, you see the ribbon if they needed. You know, I don't know why they needed it there and not in other places, but there you have it. So, one sleeve is already, I've got my, I used, what do you call this stuff? Not horsehair. Okay, I have a client, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and yes, I believe this is called hair canvas. And so I cut a piece to go all the way from that edge all the way down to the very edge of this fur. And you can see how I have used pretty large stitches about a 1/2 inch apart to attach this only to that. You're never going, I'm never attaching to the leather itself. And where it comes together, where was that? There. I laid it down first, and I did attach the first layer to just those little threads where you saw it sewed to the ribbon. I occasionally attached the first layer just to that ribbon area. Then when I came around with the second layer, I'm just going under this and every 1/2 inch a whip stitch to gather around the raw edges, and basically the same thing up at this edge. So I've got everything secured, and that's all you know, stabilized, so it should protect it better once it's a finished garment. Now, the next step is going to be to sew a grosgrain ribbon right to the edge, and then the grosgrain along with this, I'll probably have to lose as much as 1/2 inch of this to fold back. And then the grosgrain ribbon will go from the edge of the fur, and then I can stitch it to this. And lo and behold, had enough lining to where I won't, and I'll just drag it down here, I won't have to add anything for the lining. I'm doing this all on my lap. So I'm going to steam that out. It's in really good shape, very good shape. And once the grosgrain goes up under here, I can then turn this under by about a 1/2 inch, stitch this to the grosgrain, and we will have a finished piece with probably almost 4 inches of extra length to take it from 3/4 sleeve to an wrist length. All right, that's what I've got so far. All right, I'm trying again. So to get this hair canvas sewn on here, you see that I overlap it a tad up here. And I've started, but I just wanted to show you where and how I'm making these stitches. All I do is I have it laying there, and then I go down and grab up a couple of these threads where they've sewn this together near the ribbon, and I come back through underneath the hair canvas. And then I'm just going to go about every ½ inch or less, or, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, just to get this attached. So it's attached to something under there. Not the skin itself. Not the skin. And actually, it's not a bad idea to pin this in place so you don't lose your way. So, all right, there we go. And pull this back, grab a thread or two, and come back through. The thread wants to have a knot in it somewhere. It's not a bad one. I think we can operate. Come on. There. So that's how I'm getting this first edge laid down. Grab a stitch, go under the hair canvas, and come back through. Grab a stitch, back under the hair canvas, and come back through. You just need a few tacks, you know, it doesn't have to be real close together or anything like that. Sometimes if you go too close together, you would just end up making too much of a mess. Underneath we go. Very close, very close. Am I breaking the thread? I may have. Because of that knot. I'll just pull it beyond and don't worry about it. We can keep going. We have a tiny way to go. It's not a big deal. Sometimes you run into things like this, but it's not a big deal. Just keep going. Grab another stitch and come back through. Grab another stitch and come back through. Almost done with this part, and that'll be nicely secured. It's fussy, for sure. It's fussy. Don't kid yourself. It is fussy. That's why nobody wants to do stuff like this, because it requires a little concentration. It doesn't always go, you know, perfect. There are ins and outs, ups and downs, frustrations and aggravations. Now I'm here meeting up with this, so just a couple nice stitches to help that meet up. I can remove this pin, and now since this is in place, I'm going to grab it up, go a little bit like this, and now I'm going to see how I'm just barely overlapping that. And I'm holding that in place. I could do pins, but I'm actually just going to I call it finger pinning, because you're just using your fingers, right? Yeah, then go under this one and come up. So basically we just want everything to meet, so we create this new support for the lower level of the arm, the sleeve. I'm about to run out of thread, but you can see what I'm doing here. Just going underneath this stuff a little bit, never through the skin. I'll finish with that one, and I'll knot off. And that gives you an idea. I may show you a little bit more of that, but you can see where I'm going with this. Okay? That'll get us going.